What's good? What's good? Your boy back. I am Zo Media. I'm your host, Prince. Long waited to do. Hey, we're back, man. Appreciate all of my supporters. I'm at 1,500 subscribers, man. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. You already know what it is. I am Zo Media. And we back with the Chicago Sky Draft Report. This is episode number 6. Look, the draft report been missing in action for about like a month, but we back. We'll be getting into the number 10 pick. Again, you want to go back and check my thoughts on where we should land at number 3, go ahead and do that. Short version, Olivia Miles in there, Sonya Citron, and let's move on. Outside of that, go check out the videos on the other ones that could be potential, but I wouldn't choose. But if you want to learn more about them before they get into the WNBA, make sure you go check that out, man. Again, we back, man. Make sure you like the video as you come in. Make sure you subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, I'm at 1,508. And by the week, I'm going to be saying on the road to 2K, man. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody who rock with the channel. I know I got a different perspective on my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really just film breakdown. And that's kind of just it. Knowledge of the game, that kind of stuff. So again, y'all know what y'all come to my channel for. So I appreciate, all the support that I've been getting. What's going on, my dude Jay? Shout out to my dude Jay, man. What's going on, MJ? What's up, MJ? What's going on, man? Welcome in, man. Give y'all a second to get on in here. Y'all know we about to cut up, man. Again, we back with the Chicago Sky Draft Report. If you're not familiar with it, we break down the game, things that go on in the game as far as how a player will look on the team, comparisons, even height, skill sets, former and current players, how they fared in college, what's their outlook as far as like the draft report goes. That's how we kind of do things over here. Again, welcome in. Make sure you hit the like button as you come in before we get into it. I want to give y'all a second to come on in here. My membership levels will be added probably about a week. I want to iron out some details and things like that, but those who are subscribers, my membership levels will be added. Again, it'll be some cool levels. It'll be, one level where you get a wrench. Again, if you have a wrench, man, you might be losing it if you don't become a member. Again, that one will be pretty cheap. That'll be my first level. My highest level, though. So again, I'm working on all the levels. I want to make sure I kind of get it correct. My highest level membership will be getting the gear packet. That's the book sack, the choice of a hoodie, t-shirt, water bottle, and a beanie. So that'll be my highest level membership. And once a week, they'll get a choice of a player or a conversation they want me to break down. Again, if you know my channel, you already know don't come with no wild stuff. Give me a legit player or a legit concept or a game, even if it's a past game from last year, 2 years ago. If I can find it, I'll break it down for you. So that'll be my highest level membership. One of my high level members are able to send me a name or a game they want me to actually break down. In my highest level membership, will be getting the pack that I showed y'all a while back. Let's see if I can pull it up while everybody coming in here, man. Let's see if I can pull it up. My highest level member will be getting this packet. So that'll be the highest level. They'll get the book sack, the choice of hoodie, the beanie, and the water bottle, along with their choice of any player or any game that I can pull up, even if it's from 5 years ago. If I can pull it up, I'm gonna do it for you live. So highest membership packet. They'll get all the gear for free. Again, you know, we all work for our money. Again, I really do YouTube just because I enjoy talking about the sport. So again, I just want to give my thank you to those who contribute to my channel in that way. So that'll be my highest packet membership as far as that goes. But again, I'll have 4 different levels for those who are just coming in. That is just my high package level membership. Will get this gear along with their choice here. They want me to break down once a month. As long as they're paying their membership once a month, they get their choice of a game or a player they want me to break down if they want to see it, and I'll do it live. So that's just a thank you to my highest level membership. But again, as y'all come on in, you already know what it is. If you read the bottom of the ticker, or if you've seen the thumbnail before it came up, I didn't put it in my community post because I put it last week. So I didn't put it in my community post. But as you come on in, this is the Chicago Sky Draft Report. We're back after a long layoff. What's going on, my dude Gamble, man? What's going on? Gamble, we're doing the Chicago Sky Draft Report series, episode number 6 with Shyannesellers. What's going on, Hog Boss 337? What's going on, Patricia Burton? What's going on? What's going on, my dude B Will? What's going on? What's going on? Again, man, appreciate y'all for always pulling up. Again, we got a good thing today going on, man. What's going on, Lotus Flower? Hey, Superfly J, you got my did you get my image email? Make sure you check your spam if you got my image email for your hoodie. Shout out to my dude Superfly J. Him and the Minot won my 1,000 subscriber contest. They're going to be getting a free hoodie or t-shirt of their choice. What's going on, Rockstar Flacco? What's going on? Yanni, what's going on? Again, as you come in, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe before we get into it. I always like to start at the 10-minute mark. So hit that like button before we get to the 10-minute mark, because that's when we'll start. Again, this Chicago Sky Draft Report, episode number 6, Shyannesellers. Y'all know what y'all come here for. Y'all don't come here for the gossip. Y'all come here for the knowledge. And let's move on, man. That's what we do. But I'm gonna give them at least one more minute to get on in here. One thing I like to do, the reason I like to give them a minute, because YouTube algorithm be tripping. I don't live stream every day because of what I do. Like if I cover like the rumors and the what would you call it? Like the daily highlights. Like I know Alyssa Thomas had the trade going on. Like I don't cover like stuff like that. So sometimes like the algorithm kind of like messes me up because I don't record every day, but it's okay. So that's why I like to give people a second to come on in here. Again, if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the bell and click all, not personalized. When you click all, you get all my upcoming live streams as I post them. I usually like to post them like a day in advance because my thumbnails are already kind of made. But again, appreciate y'all for coming in. Again, we're back with the Chicago Sky Draft Report series. Again, those who coming in, this is really on the number 10 pick. The number 3 pick, like we talked about. I mean, we don't got to keep getting into that. If Olivia Miles is there, you take her at 3. Citron is there. You take her at 3. After that, it's up in the air. But that's my 2 picks at the number 3 pick. Olivia Miles first, even though in my heart of hearts, and again, my GM, if I put my GM hat on, I'm taking Olivia Miles. But if I'm just putting on my who I like hat on, my kind of fan kind of theory hat on, I'm taking Citron. So I just love Citron, man, what she brings. But it just, I mean, you don't pass up on Olivia Miles. Even she's not generational, so y'all need to stop saying generational. But you don't pass up on Olivia Miles. Like, she does nothing generational. I don't get the generational part, but you don't pass up on Olivia Miles. What's going on, Chris Stride? What's going on, T. Carmilla? I hear you, Brooklyn. I hear you, Brooklyn. Brian Allen Hines, what's going on, man? Let's get to this, though, man. Again, appreciate y'all for coming in. Again, this is the Chicago Sky 2025 Draft Report, episode number 6. We're going to be talking about the number 10 pick selection. Again, this Chicago Sky draft series, the number 10 pick will probably stretch all the way through the WNBA draft. So it'll probably stretch all the way through there. Again, the 10 pick, you have so many different levels of players, skill sets, options you can go defensive, offensively, big, small, another guard. Like, you got a wing. Like, you got so many options at that 10 pick, because the back end of the draft, I say from like that 9th to like maybe the 20th pick, most of them are going to be hit or miss, but it's definitely some potential diamond in the roughs in there. If you're great at scouting and stuff like that, you could definitely find a diamond in the rough in there, man. But again, appreciate y'all for coming in. Let's get to this, though, man. We got enough people in here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all 1,500 of my subscribers, man. That just lets me know that I'm doing the right thing, man. I try to keep it positive. I try to keep it, you know what I'm saying? I try to keep it cordial, you know. And again, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Again, me, Cheyenne Sellers, Aurora High School, McDonald's All-American nominee. She was the number 22 recruit in the 2021 recruiting class. 4 league championships, all-state honors every year, earned 4 league MVP honors in Ohio. She's actually her high school's leading scorer at the current moment. With Maryland, she's actually had a pretty decent career with Maryland. When I was doing research, I didn't realize how decent her career actually is. Big Ten All Freshman, Big Ten All Freshman team, Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year. She had a great freshman season as far as accolades goes. Her numbers weren't there. She averaged like 8 points a game, but just as far as like her impact and her accolades, she had a pretty good for her conference, for Big Ten conference. You think about all the guards that were in that conference. She had a pretty good conference. If you think about 2022 rookie guards in that conference, freshman guards actually in that conference, all Big Ten first team defense 2023, defense and first team. But in 2024, she didn't make defensive first team or team at all. All Big Ten first team, though, as a athlete in 2024. So shout out to her, man. Shout out to her. She also is a Under Armour campus mogul and Honey Stinger brand ambassador. You know, I always like to shout out athletes getting that generational wealth in, showing that she can actually, you know, be great on and off the course. So shout out to Shyannesellers for her mindset on and off the court. Shout out to her, man. Again, like that, hit that like button as y'all come in. Hit that like button as y'all come in. Again, before we get into, you know, everything else, I always like to refresh y'all on like where the Chicago Sky stand. That way, when we're talking, we're always talking from a logical standpoint and we really understand what's going on when we're talking. Again, draft is April 14th. We got the 3rd and the 10th pick. This episode is about the 10th pick only. Again, I don't need to get into these if you know, been on my channel a long time. I've said it 1,000 times. So Again, shout out to everybody who's been to the channel and read that already. Let's move on. Shyannesellers is averaging 14 points, 4 rebounds, and almost 5 assists, shooting 50% from the field in her senior season. Her averages as far as like points per game are down this year, rebounds are down. But again, the season is kind of midway through point right now. So again, like, and sometimes assist goes to who on your team. She's missed, I think, like 2 games already. She missed their last game, and she only played like 14 minutes in that Texas game. So I didn't put the Texas game up there, but her last 5 games when she was fully healthy, I mean, 27 points, 21 points, 26 points, 17 points, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 rebounds, no rebounds, 6 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 assist, 2 assists, 4 assists, 3 steals. 3 assists. And almost all 5 of her last games, she's averaged a steal. So again, shout out to her for being consistent over her last 5 games. Again, we're almost into March Madness, so I expect a lot of the high quality draft picks. I expect a lot of their points per game to get an uptick. Again, sometimes it's hard to take the season serious when it's so long like that. You're really just trying to find your groove, especially when you're like a player, you know that you can turn it up or hit that switch at any time. Sometimes you're just trying to find your groove throughout a season. Seasons are grueling, man. The practices, especially at college, the practices, film studies, actual class, the travel, market media day, like a lot of that. Like, so you sometimes players coast through a season. And that's why when they get to March Madness, you'd be like, wow, because it happens. You know, we're human. It happens, man. It happens, man. We're human. We're human. But again, she was balling her last 5 games. So I'm excited to see what she actually can become going into March Madness. I know she's dealing with like Bree said, a knee sprain right now. So hopefully she will be back soon. Anybody in the chat, if you know what the update is on her knee sprain, make sure you put it in the chat for everybody. I haven't looked into it yet. What's going on, Political Lil? What's going on, Miss Lisa? What's going on, Miss Gant? Shout out to Nadir Gant, man. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. But again, when we think about number 2 picks over the last 4 years, most of them hit or miss, hasn't panned out. So I don't know, maybe in the 2020s, that's a bad spot to be in, to be the number 10 pick, because a lot of them haven't panned out at that number 10 pick. But you know, we'll see, man. We'll see. Each year hasn't really been like a high talented draft. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Again, this is the number 10 pick, not the number 3 pick series. So I mean, maybe I don't know, man. That 10 pick ain't looking too good. I used to honestly, I thought Zaya Cook would be better, man. I liked her coming out of college. I thought she would definitely be better. She was a shocking one on this list. I thought she would definitely be better. I had high hopes for her coming out of college, man. But when you think about a player, right, I always say, do they show up in the big games when they mean something? Like in college, you play a lot of double A schools, you play a lot of D2s, sometimes you play a D3 or a JUCO school. So I always look for like great players. Do they show up when the lights are brightest, when everybody's watching? And do they actually show up in an impactful way? As you see on the screen, Shyannesellers is 4-1 when she's actually played. She did miss 2 ranked games, which they lost. So she didn't actually play in those 2 games because they've actually played 7 ranked teams, but she didn't play in 2 of the games. But in the game she did play, they're 4-1. Their only loss was to USC. Against USC, she put up 26 points, 2 assists, 0 rebounds. Against Iowa, 17 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Against Minnesota, 27 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. Against Michigan State, 11 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. And against Duke previously, 17 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. impact the game, man. Like my coach used to always tell me, impact the game, even when you're not shooting well. Impact the game, even when you don't got it going. Impact the game where teammates can believe in you, especially when you're a leader. Impact the game. The way that she plays, especially against ranked teams in meaningful games. Impact the game. Impact the game. Yes, Morty Mac, that's the Love and Basketball jersey behind me, man. That's the Love and Back. Morty Mac, I think you're the first person to ever notice that. You could, if they did, then nobody never said nothing in the chat. You the first person to ever notice that Love and Basketball jersey behind me. But impact the game, man. I wanted to put this up here because y'all already know my slogan, one of them ones. I seen somebody tweet out her game when she had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. One of them ones, man, that was against Minnesota. Hey, she gonna be one of them ones. I'm actually excited. I'm actually super excited to see what she can become, because I did like an evaluation of her team. Like, she doesn't have a lot of tools to work with, especially being a scoring point guard. Like, she doesn't actually have a lot of tools to work with, man. Because sometimes being a scoring guard, you need players that can either pull players away from the rim when you're trying to get to certain spots. You need players that can run point when you're looking to score more, and you can play off ball. She doesn't actually have a lot to work with. She doesn't have like another like high level point guard on her team. Just the overall evaluation. I mean, they're 16-4, and honestly, that's all due to Shyannesellers. Like, they're 16-4. And again, though, 2 of those losses she didn't play in. So technically, when she actually plays, they're 16-2. So again, do my players show up? If I'm a GM, do players that I'm scouting, I'm writing on my board, do they show up in meaningful games? Because this is the thing. You can show up in a game and score 50, right? And that's no slouch. Like, if you score 50, hey, good job. Like, 50 points, I don't care who you playing against, is not easy because the ball still got to go in the basket. Like, if you can't shoot, if you can't make layups, if you can't dribble, 50 points is hard to get. But 50 points is 50 points at the end of the day. But I will say this. Most times, those players who you score 50 points against aren't going to the WNBA or any professional league for that matter. Like, they aren't going to the WNBA. So that's why this slide right here is so important for me, because if I'm a GM, the players on these teams are going to be in the WNBA. She's going to be playing against them. Again, she's going to be playing against them, man. So I look at big games. I look at who she's guarding. And I actually had another stat, but I didn't want to put it up there because I'm a Juju fan, so I didn't want to put it up there, but I'll say it though. But I didn't want to put the stat up. I didn't want to put the stat up there. But Juju was 1 for 6 when guarded by Shyannesellers. So and she had 1 steal on her. So she was 1 for 6 when guarded by Shyannesellers. Juju had a bad night. I think she only scored 11 points. Somebody in the chat could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 11 points because I watched that game. So I think it was 11 points. But Shyannesellers, don't let the 2 assists fool you. If you actually watch that game, sometimes when you're the top dog on the team, your assists don't win the game because it depends on who you're playing against. Like, especially as a point guard, sometimes you got to know when my scoring is needed and when my facilitation is needed. Like, her scoring was needed in that game. Like, they shot a bad percentage from 3. Her scoring was going on HD, was going on Super KSO9. Her scoring was definitely needed in that game, man. Like, if y'all watch that game, like, she had players missing open threes. Like, it was bad. It was bad. Okay, she had 21, not 11. Okay. I just know it had a 1 on it. Okay. Appreciate that, Chris Strawn. Juju had 21. Shout out Juju, but she still shot 1 for 6 when guarded by Shyannesellers. But shout out to Juju, man. Do I show up in big games, man? Do I MJ? I know that, yeah, MJ. I didn't want to put that on there because she's in the WNBA already, and I don't want it to be that kind of show today. But I seen that too, MJ. I watch. Look, again, I don't just wake up in the morning. This is the reason why a lot of people love like the slides and the information I put together, is because I don't just wake up in the morning and get information. Like, and there was a reason, because people was asking when the number 10 pick series dropping after I finished the number 3 pick. And man, when you're like breaking down the game and like you want to get like actual facts, like it takes a lot of work behind the scenes, like rewatching games, seeing things you missed. Like in the Juju game, like that wasn't no stat. I had to go back and rewatch the game fully, and I had to go record it and write it down myself every time Shyannesellers was one-on-one with Juju. So that ain't no Google stat. You actually got to go watch the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it takes me so long. So every series for my number 10 pick, every episode is already planned out. Some of those are already ready, but I only drop them once a week. Some of them are actually already ready, but it just takes a while to do all of that research, man. It's a lot of research. Look, when y'all see when I do my series, it's literally to the T. Anybody who's ever been like in a position where you're in the locker room or you're in the coach's office, like, and you've seen, we call them the blueprint book for like scouts and stuff like that. Like, if you ever seen one of their blueprint books, this is literally how they view players when they think about like, okay, what type of players is this? So when I do my draft report series, it's never really to super hyper player, and so I think people get that misconstrued when they watch my videos, because a lot of people don't do them like I do them, so you don't get to really see it a lot from like inside information kind of thing. I really just telling you the type of player. I'm not overhyping, underhyping, devaluing, overvaluing. I'm just giving you the optics of an actual player, like bias aside, all of that. You know, like even when I did my number 5 series, there's players on there I know isn't getting drafted at number 3, but they're around the number 3 pick. So I just want to do it because Chicago Sky, even if Anissa Morrow isn't on their draft board, they have a blue book. If anybody got connections in there, go ask them. If anybody got Chicago Sky connections, they got a blue book in there with Anissa Morrow's name on it, with all her info. You're just doing, you got to do the work. You got to do the work around who's going to be available at that pick. Like, that's part of the job of scouting players. Like, you just got to do the work. So those who watch videos and be like, nah, they ain't going at the number pick. I'm just going off of what actually goes on. You know what I'm saying? So again, on my channel, I always try to give y'all like the full analysis of what goes on behind the scenes, you know, especially as a point guard. You're in a lot of those film studies. When, like, I remember my freshman year, I went to a lot of high school games looking at shooters, bigs, like, Zoe, how would you play with him in the next 2 years? Like, I've been in that ringer. So you gotta be able to flesh out everything around you. Like, man, I remember my sophomore year, man, I went to so many high school games, like I got exhausted. And we ain't picked none of the players at the high school games I went to. My junior year, I was like, look here, man, you got to give me a top 5 and that's it. Man, I went to at least 20 high school games. And once you get to college, high school games become boring. It's a lot of like, it's very, very weird. It's very, very weird. Like high school games, because I think when you get to the next level, the game continues to slow down the higher you elevate. So like going back to high school games, man, I used to be like, man, but you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's about winning. It's about getting your team together, especially as a point guard. Like, you want to make sure we got the right people on the team. So coaches get your input a lot. So I've been in those circles. I've seen the books. I've seen the drive boards. Like, so again, a lot of that. Yeah, Gamble. A lot of them be freeloading over here, man. But again, I don't mind it, man. Again, I don't get on YouTube for money. Basketball pays me well. I don't get on YouTube for none of that, man. I just love talking basketball. That's why I laugh when people try to go back and forth with me. I just don't look. When I get off of here, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. But it's all cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, those who know me know I'm a good dude, man. I'm at heart, I'm a good dude. I'm a good dude. But again, Do she show up in big games? Yes. Does she cover other areas in big games? Yes. So I'm wondering what's not to like about Shyanne Sellers. Like at the 10 pick, what's not to like about Shyanne Sellers at the 10 pick? She's a great combo guard, and we'll get into that later where she can fit in multiple positions. Again, show up in big games. She's one of them ones. She covers the board. Hey, I mean, what's more to say about this slide? She's one of them ones. Shout out to Shyanne Sellers, man. Shout out to Shyanne Sellers. And speaking of Chicago Sky, those who haven't followed college game a lot, before Angel Reese got to LSU, she did play with Maryland. Shyanne Sellers' freshman season. They finished with a record of 23-9. They actually finished ranked number 13. They did lose to number 2 Stanford in the Sweet 16. Actually, they lost to them in the Sweet 16. And Tankathon actually has her going number 10 to Chicago. On most big boards, she's actually 9th. But Tankathon actually has her going to Chicago. So it's not out of the realm that she could end up with Chicago. So if I'm wrong, they wrong too. So it's not out of the realm. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, like, if you just look at boards, like all of my selections are not out of the realm. Like they're either around those picks. Like I don't have Harmon from Texas at number 3 pick just because she's slated to go number 7. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So I like to choose players that just make sense, even if it's an argument. It doesn't, even if it might look foolish, like surface level. If you really deep dive, it don't look foolish. So I really think about the players that I select. And plus, I'm not about to do a 2-hour long stream about a player that don't make sense. Like that's my time is precious, man. My time is precious, man. My time is precious, man. But again, Tankathon does have her on the big board at number 9, but they also have her going to Chicago. She's the 9th best player on the big board. When you see a big board, it's not about the teams. She's the 9th best player in the draft. But as far as fit, they have her going to Chicago. And I got her going there too if she's still right there. What's going on, Brass? What's going on, Brass? Shout out HD, man. Shout out HD. And again, anybody who watched Stanford that year, they weren't no joke. Anybody who watched Stanford that year, they weren't no joke. They weren't no joke. And she had a great rookie season with Angel Reese. I think Angel Reese averaged 17. I think she averaged 17 and 11 that year. Somebody could fact check me in the chat. Put it in the chat if I'm wrong. But I think it was 17 and 11. And Shyanne averaged like 7.7 or something like that, almost 8 points. She was Big Ten Freshman of the Year. She was Big Ten Sixth Man of the Year because she came off the bench that year. She did start like 10 games, though. She started like 10 games her freshman year, but she was Sixth Man in the conference that year. She was a freshman, all freshman team in the Big Ten, and she was actually Freshman of the Year. So playing alongside Angel Reese, she had a good rookie year, man. She had a good rookie year. I mean, you can't poo-poo that at all. My overall analysis of her is all around playmaking guard, measurement, as far as like her being 6'2", Alyssa Thomas, Ryan Howard, and Rickea Jackson, who we all see balling out in 3-on-3. Shout out to all 3 of them, man. If you don't watch Unrivaled 3-on-3, make sure you get up on that, man. They got some talented ladies in there, man, showing their skill sets that a lot of people didn't know they had. Now, I will say some getting exposed, but majority are showing their individual ISO skill sets. So that's why I love 3-on-3. I'm able to, when I look at a player, I'll be like, okay, dribble, drive, pull up. Okay, they like to work the right side. Okay, but in 3-on-3, it be like, man, Zoe know what he be talking about. Because when I watch him play, I be like, when I look at them, that's what I say in my head. So I'll be like, okay, I got a little knowledge. I don't know everything, but I got a little knowledge. What's going on, Revenue T? I got a little knowledge, man. But I just love her being an all-around playmaking guard. That's why I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid. Because if I can put together this and they got more resources, they have more time, they have more inside information, So if I can put this together, I can imagine what they're putting together on her. So I don't know. I'm afraid, man. She might not even be there at 10. I'm just afraid. Like, cause she covers so many things, and we'll get into it. Like I think so. I've been watching like social media, the Twitter Spaces, Instagram, even like some scouts on like her game, and like I watch what they say about other players, and I'm like, you got them rated higher than her. Even on the big board, she's 9th. But there's like, and again, the big board isn't skill set, or I mean, the big board is more of like your skill sets. Where do you rank among the draft picks? Where the mock draft is where you're touted to go fit, things like that. But like the big board, that's just like your ranking. Like, and there's at least 4 players ahead of her that aren't better than her. So that's why I be saying, like, we gotta remember there's agendas, there's politics, it's situational, it's the school, like all of that goes into it when you think about where players rank. That's why you got some second round picks that are still in the WNBA and some first round picks who never played a game, because again, politics plays a part. Some people get picked off of popularity, like, so you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you highlighting certain players. Like, there's 4 players in that top 5, that top 10 that aren't better than her. Like, I'm talking pound for pound, that just aren't better than her. So I don't be understanding the big board sometimes, man. I be questioning their capabilities of actually doing the homework, because they be wrong. Like, and I'm actually going to do a stream on that going up to the draft, because I want to wait till the draft, because I know people are going to be looking for draft content at that time. I'm actually going to do a stream on that. Y'all about to be shocked. Like how wrong media pundits, big boards were. They was like, this player gonna do this player gonna come in, play alongside that player, and it never panned out. Like, y'all be shocked how many players. Like, I'm gonna just drop a nugget. Picture this. In the last 10 years, 10 I'm gonna say that again. In the last 10 years, only 18% of first round picks played more than 4 years in the WNBA. In the last 10 years, 18% of first round picks played more. Like, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. And guess what? Only 9% actually started of first round picks. 9% of first round picks have started a game. That's why you still got all the older generation still in there. Because again, we're talking 2014 to 2024. So last year's draft back to 2014, the last 10 years. So anything before 14, most of them are still in the league. I was shocked. I went back and even just kind of gandered at the 12 and the 13 draft. Well, some of them are still in the league, but 18%. Again, I just wanted to drop that nugget so y'all could be anticipating that episode. The draft is on the 14th, so I'll probably do that one. Probably either the day before or probably that Friday before the draft. But 18% actually played more than 4 WNBA seasons, and only 9% in the last 10 years started the season. Like, some started a game. I don't really count those. Some started a game for injuries, things like that. So I counted the ones that actually were like prominent starters. You think about first round picks starting, like, you think, because even this year, we're like, oh, if they're going in the first round, they got to start. Only 9% of the first round picks in the last 10 years started games. Like, I'm talking full-time starter, not the ones who subbed in, subbed out, started 10 games, rest of the year they're on the bench. I'm talking about starting caliber players. Only 9%. 9%. So again, it's a small league, limited teams. You're going against grown women day in, day out. Again, it's hard making it into the WNBA. So shout out to that 9%, man. It's hard making it to the WNBA, man. Shout out to that 9%, man. But again, that was a shocking number when I went back and did my research. Shocking number. I was like, wow. Over the last 20 years, and I'll do that too. And I ain't even gonna drop the nugget on that one, but that was a 5-year span, and more than half of them are still in the league. There was a 5-year span. I'm talking 2013 and on. There's a 5-year span in the last 20 years that all of those players, 80% of those players are still in the league. That is wild. That is wild, man. That is wild. Political Lil say 18%. Well, 4 years, that is about the lifespan of a pro career. Yeah. It's actually 3 years. Political Lil. It's actually 3 years. Yeah, Chris Drowan. Crazy stat. Crazy stat. Crazy stat. Chris Drowan say Bleacher Report did a mock draft come out today that had her going to the Mystics at 6. Yeah. Bleacher Report be the reason I don't like, Bleacher Report, I wanna like Bleacher Report, but Bleacher Report, they be doing a lot of clickbaiting, man. I be wanting to like Bleacher Report so bad because they do be having inside scoop, but they do a lot of clickbaiting reporting, man. So I don't really like take a lot of their information for real. Once they stop doing that, they'll have a lifetime fan because I be appreciating the content they put out, the information they put out. But some of the information be clickbaitish, and I ain't into that clickbait stuff. But shout out to her, man. But as far as her strengths, scoring, long range shooting, dribble drive, free throw conversion, she is a disruptive defender, position versatility. That means she can play the 3, the 2, the 1 at times. It really depends on what a coach need her at. I mean, you 6'2". I mean, you can be anywhere on the court with that skill set. She's quick. She has good strength for her height. It's interesting to see how she be used in the WNBA. I'm very interested. Like, I'm evaluating her, right? Earlier today, I'm looking back over my docs, making sure everything's good. And I'm like, I will put Shyannesellers at the 3. I'm like looking back over like her comparisons, her height, her speed, her agility, her vision, her defensive prowess. Like, I wouldn't mind Sellers playing the 3. Like, and that's just my opinion, not fact. I would be of course, I'm starting off at point guard, natural position, but I would try her out in some 3 lineups, in some lineups where she can play the wing. Like, I just think sometimes players need to be put in position to show they can be better at certain things. Like, again, you look at Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman came out of college a scorer. He like, people don't know this, but Dennis Rodman was a scorer. Go do your research. He was at a smaller college, but he was a scorer, and he just had high energy. He wasn't known for what he's known for, what he got into the Hall of Fame for. He did it, but he wasn't known for that. Detroit was like, you know what? You come off this bench, do these things at this position, you'll be in the Hall of Fame and we'll win championships. And that happened. Chicago, same thing. You come here, do these things, play the 4, and we'll win championships with you. And it happened. Again, sometimes players need to be put in position to win and be their best selves. If I'm the coach, I'm starting off at point, natural position, just to see what she got. But if I got an option at point, I don't mind her playing the 3. I don't want her at the 2 because she's not a pure shooter. I want her at the 3 just for height reasons. I mean, most power forwards, the average power forward in the WNBA is only 6'2". So I wouldn't mind her at the 3. She can match up across the board. She has the IQ. long arms, quick feet, moves laterally. And I had some videos I wanted to show, but YouTube every now and then, and I didn't do my I usually got to put in a little thing so I don't get copyrighted, but I didn't do that, so I ain't able to show the videos, and I don't want my channel to get flagged. I'm at 1,500 subscribers. I just started this channel after my other one got hacked, so I don't mess this one up. But I did have some videos on her. I'll save them for if she gets drafted by Chicago Sky. I'll save them because I am going to do a draft report for the Chicago Sky picks themselves. I am going to do a draft report for that, just to refresh viewers and fans on that. But I'm going to save that video if she gets drafted by the Chicago Sky. If she doesn't, you might not ever see it. But I do got video of her defense, offensive, rebounding, boxing out, IQ, play adjustments, play breakdown, scoring ability, getting downhill, things like that. Like I do how she can run off ball sets. Like I do got film on that I want to break down, but I'll show it if she gets drafted. I'm interested in her. Like, I'm about to tell y'all something. And you can argue with it if you want. This is just my opinion. I think Shyannesellers will be the steal of the draft if she pans out. If she pans out, I think Shyannesellers will actually be the steal of the first round. If she pans out. Her and Malongo. I like Malongo too. Both of them don't get enough high praise for how great they are at the things that they're great at. It's between her and Malongo. I got to see Malongo actually play against WNBA talent. That's the only thing about Malongo. She hasn't played against current or future WNBA talent that much. She has the skill set. She has the talent. She has the height. I just need to see her do it more against WNBA future and current talent. So I mean, her skill set is undeniable at that height. She can shoot the long ball at the 5 position. She's actually a 5. She's a stretch 5. So her talent is undeniable. But I want to see that against the Asia Wilsons or even the Lauren Betts. Like, see how she plays, like just those type of players, like the Angelreeses, the Camilla Cardozo, like the bigs, the fees. I want to see her get banged around, actually be guarded by good players and see how her game translates. Because sometimes everybody looks good until they get punched in the mouth. And in the WNBA, you'll get punched in the mouth by Asia Wilson on day one. She gonna make you rethink everything you thought you knew just by the way she plays. So, and again, some players get down. So I want to see her get challenged. She hasn't been challenged yet. So Malongo, I think she can be a steal too, but she hasn't been challenged yet. So as far as challenges, like we talked about earlier, who shows up in big games, who touches the box score all over, even when they're not scoring. Shyannesellers does that. And the crazy thing is, like, no matter who we get at the number 3 pick, right? Olivia Miles or Sonia Citron, she can play alongside both of them. Because I think if you get Olivia Miles, now you got height in your backcourt with Shyannesellers. I don't mind her at the 2 if we get a pure shooter at the 3. That means Michaela got to be going to come off the bench. I wouldn't mind her at the 2 because she's a bucket getter. And we'll get into some comparisons a little bit. So I don't mind her at the 2. If we can, we just need a pure shooter around her because she's a scorer. Like she's a baller. So we need a pure. If we can get a pure shooter around her, especially when you got angelreese and Camilla, you need shooting on the floor. If Olivia Miles can translate the shooting she's done this year into the WNBA, and you put another peer shooter at the 3, I wouldn't mind her in the backcourt, Olivia Miles, because now you got height in the backcourt. Because Olivia Miles is only 5'10". I'm interested to see how she'll see over defenses in the WNBA versus college. With Olivia Miles, that's one thing I'm interested on with Olivia Miles is how she'll see over defenses. Especially playing with angelreese and Camilla. You think about the switch, right? You think about, and this is another thing a lot of people don't realize, like at the point guard, if I'm big open, we're running pick and roll. And you think about the switch, you 5'10. Can I see over the defense to get it in the post? Like that's a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people look at point guard and think they just come down court and they can just pass it. There's a lot of scheme that goes to it. There's a lot of nuance. So you got to really think about that. Like, she's a great passer, but that's not all that goes into passing. It's the IQ, the timing, the court awareness, seeing over defenses, the ability to get around screens, like to run pick and roll. Like a lot of things go into like facilitating. You don't just come down court, just pass them out of the ball. Like that ain't how that actually works, especially at that level. So that's one thing about her height. Other than that, about her height, I'm fine with her height because she does have long arms. One thing about Olivia Miles is her being able to see over defense in the pick and roll, because with Fee, you wouldn't probably be running pick and roll that much because Fee runs a lot of lower post plays. Even with Adrian Wilson, you don't got to see over the defense that much. But when you got bigs like Angelreese and Camilla, seeing over the defense is very important because of they run a lot of pick and roll. They can run a lot of off ball action. You getting bigs on you. Can you see over a 6'3", 6'2" wingspan big like or wing? Like that's going to be what I want to see from Olivia Miles. That's one concern I have, and it's not really a true concern. It's just something that I need to see. And again, that's just evaluation wise, right? Like if I'm an evaluator, that's on my board as how will she fare against taller defenders, being 5'10". Again, her long arms, long arms only help with rebounding, steals, and getting in the passing lane. Like long arms has nothing to do with assisting. Like that's very weird. I hear people make that concept. Like I'm like, huh? I'm like, what assisting got to do with long arms? I thought assisting was IQ, court vision, and court awareness. I didn't know that had to do with long arms. I thought it was height. Like, where's your head at, not your arms? Because the ball got to get there. Not so I'm confused. But anyway, scoring, long range shooting. She doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but she's a bad 3-point shooter. And if you look at how she scores, I always look. She's not a bad 3-point shooter because she doesn't take a lot, right? So she's labeled she's not like a high level, high profile 3-point shooter because she's a baller. Like if I can get an easier shot, I don't need to shoot a 3. See, and again in this new era, I remember in my matter of fact, I think it was my old high school coach. We had this conversation one day when I was in Louisiana, and this was years ago. And 3-point shooting, if you're a baller, 3-point shooting isn't important to you because you can get a bucket. A lot of people get credited as these great 3-point shooters because they can't put the ball on the floor, because they can't create their own shot, because they got no 1-2 dribble pull up. They got no ISO game. They got no in and out, no in between, back out, side step. Like they got no ISO game. So their 3-point shot is very important to them. But against great defenders, if you look at, I always say, how do they play against great defenders? And you'll be shocked at some of their percentages, at how many threes they don't take, because you got a great defender in front of you that's not letting you get that off. So sometimes when we say this person doesn't shoot a lot of threes, there's a lot of nuance and context to that versus like this person. When we compare like who's the better 3-point shooter, film goes into that. You bring stats into it, right? But film goes into it as well, because sometimes stats could be misleading. Like Shyannesellers assists would be higher if her scoring ability wasn't so good, if she had better peer shooters around her. Because if you go watch that USC game, man, they missed so many open threes. Shyannesellers should have had at least 8 assists in that game. Like they missed so many open threes. But again, if you look at the stat sheet, it'll say she only had 2 assists, but she should have had at least 8 to 9. Like there was like 4 wide open missed layups. Like why I'm talking go back. I'm talking wide open missed layups under the basket. Like new stats play a part. Stats show where you need to pay attention to when you're watching film. Stats shouldn't win an argument. Film study, eye test, understanding the game and the nuances win arguments. Stats just say, okay, these are parts of the argument that I can bring up to make my point. Like I be again, when you use stats, they aren't, you don't use stats to win an argument. You use stats to make your point in certain instances, but you have to use them correctly. So when you say one shoots better than the other, what's the nuance behind that stat though? Because game style, gameplay, coaches' responsibilities for a player, a lot of that affects that, like who you have on your team. Like I've been on teams where our shooting guard could not shoot at all, but we needed him to take at least 5 threes a game because it kept the floor open. It got us on the board. Like we just needed him to take 5 threes a game. Like it was just part of the game plan. Like we just needed it. And he was in there our best shooter, but he played the 2 and the way we ran that Indiana motion. So like we just needed him to really just shoot the ball. Like we didn't care about his percentage. We just needed him to shoot the ball, man. Yeah, Brass Bree McDaniels is definitely one of their top 3 scorers if she was playing this year. So again, it's nuance and context to it. Because I believe in stats. I mean, my drafts are literally built on stats, experience, and just watching film. So I try to combine all 3 to give like a clearer picture of things. But again, dribble drive. She's a great free throw shooter. Passing lane very well. She doesn't get beat to the rim a lot. Which I watched a couple of her games yesterday. I watched 2 games yesterday actually. I watched the Duke game and I think it was the Minnesota game. She doesn't get beat. She's a great help defender. She's a great help side blocker. Like she gets a lot of blocks just coming off her, man, and protecting the rim because she has long arms, 6'2". She's quick. Like she's quick with long arms. All you need is effort, and you'll be a great defender. And she plays with great effort on the defensive end. Even on we talked about her playing the 3 on offense. On defense, she can play the 3, the 2. In college, she can play the 4. In college, she can play the 4. I wouldn't really want her right there in the WNBA because they're a little bigger, smarter, stronger. But in college, there's been times where she'll play the 4. When someone's in foul trouble. I think she played the 4 for like about 4 minutes against Duke. And I think in the 3rd quarter when I was watching that game, she was at the 4 on defense. So again, positionalist player, man. Like you don't get those in every draft. Like she's a positionalist player at the end of the day. So you can move her all around the court. She feels so many different needs. I love players that feel needs because now I don't gotta if I'm a GM, I want players that feel multiple needs because now I don't have to go out and spend unnecessary energy, cap space, roster spots on players who just come in and do one thing when I can get a player that does that thing among others. I see, let's say I had a wing who could rebound, play defense, and score. I don't need to go out in the free agency or trade for a rebounder because I got a wing that's a great rebounder and great on perimeter defense. So I don't got to go out and just get a perimeter defender, man. So again, like I just pay attention to those things when I think about like who makes sense for what team. Like, so when y'all watching players, just think about that too when we're evaluating talent. Like, how many areas do they cover where I don't have to expend so much energy, effort, draft picks compensation, money, cap space, whatever, roster spots that could be going to other things when this player can do that. And I don't got to just go out and have a rebounder just sitting on my bench and never plays, and I bring him in only when I need rebounding. Like, coaches and GMs don't want to do that. They don't want to just have a situational player. Like, unless they're the 12th man and we paying them pennies, you don't want to have a situational player. So I'm with Shyannesellers. Watching film on her, and again, this is why stat sheets don't show everything. Watching film on her, her game is sometimes inconsistent during a game, and I don't know if that's because she gets winded having to do so much. As y'all see from her stats, she covers the box score. I don't think she has a great level of just motor. And I wouldn't say motor because her defense doesn't fall off. It's her offense. Like, she'll score like 8 points and she'll disappear from like scoring again or being impactful for like a 3-4 minute stretch, and then she'll show up again. So I don't know if that's more of like game style coach, like, hey, let's get you off ball for a minute. Again, a lot goes into it. It's just something I seen on film that I was like, okay, this could be a weakness. And again, all weaknesses aren't important. You just want to make sure when you do draft reports, and I'm saying this because I'm tired of having this argument with people about this. When you say a weakness, it isn't a bad thing. Like, this is one thing that I need y'all to understand about me. I don't talk like a fan kind of concept. And when I say things, people's comeback is always like fan concept. And that's why it don't be making sense to me. And I'll be like, huh? And I get the little weird face. Like, if I'm on somebody's stream or even mine and I'm like weaknesses, I'm really pointing out the flaws within the concept of their entire game. And that's not to say that's something that's bad. It's just not the plus side of their game. So it's very weird, man. Like, that's why moving forward, I will not be on streams anymore. I'm limiting my information to my channel only. I know some of y'all like to hear my takes on other things, but moving forward, I'm limiting all my information to my channel because I'm not a fan. I'm an athlete at the end of the day, and I hate having meaningless conversations because they'll always approach it as a fan and I always approach it as an athlete. So moving forward, I will be limiting my knowledge and conversations on other channels. And again, it's not a knock on channels, it's more of a knock on the conversation. Because I don't get nowhere with that. Because I always approach it as an athlete. It's just, I mean, I've been an athlete since I was 4 years old. I can't turn on a fan hat. Like, no matter how long I've only been out the game for 6 years. That's what a lot of people don't know. It hasn't even been that long. It hasn't even been a decade. So again, like, I just haven't reached that year. I haven't reached that year where I can be consistently judging things as a fan. And, you know, like, it even rubs people the wrong way, and I don't want to rub people the wrong way. So I'm limiting. I won't be on other channels moving forward until I start thinking like a fan, you know, and we'll see when that time comes. So just wanted to fill y'all in on that. So y'all only see my face moving forward on probably my channel, my homeboy HD if he hit me up, or I'll still do the live streams with like Showtime or whatever like that for the games. But other than that, I'm kind of out of the loop. So I appreciate all of y'all who've been rocking with me on other channels. But I'm limiting my services. as of this moment. And again, there's no knock to no channel. I want to stay in a good headspace, honestly. And I don't want nobody to feel like I'm attacking them when I say stuff. So I want to stay in a good headspace, and I don't want nobody to feel like I don't ever want nobody to feel like their information is unknowledgeable or I know more. And again, sometimes my conversations come off as I know more because I don't approach it from a fan perspective. I don't even know how to start a sentence like that. So yeah, because I'm a good dude at the end of the day. I don't want my I don't want my personality to be what it's not. So, you know, it was me and the wife's decision. Me and the wife had a conversation about it or whatever like that. And, you know, me and the wife decided I can't do that no more. Because again, the weirdest thing is the weirdest thing is one of my homeboys told me this. The weirdest thing is like I'm a former professional athlete, and I go on channels and it's like nobody, and you're talking about my sport. Like I actually did it. So it's like weird. So yeah, I'm limiting because I I'm I'm uh, I'm not saying I'm above the conversation. It's just the way that it's approached. Like I'm nobody, and I'm like, huh? Google me. So I'm limiting my services moving forward. I just want to stay in a good headspace. I'll still send super chats to my people like KSAP and all of them. I'll still send them super chats, but I'm I'm not in the right headspace to do that. Once you start. And like Khalees say, it's not personal. And Khalees say it's like it's not personal. It's don't get emotional. I'm an athlete. It's gonna always be personal. I'm an athlete. I'm confused at that statement. I'm an athlete. And like it'll always be personal. But again, that's just my take on things, man. It's gonna that didn't make no sense, Khalil. I get what you was trying to say, Kylie, but that didn't make no sense. I'm an athlete. It's always gonna be personal. So I'm confused. That's why I said you making Khalil, you making my point. You literally making my point. Hey, critical thinking is a big thing in this world, man. You making my point, Khalil, Kylie. You making my point. You'll never see it as an athlete, and I'll never see it as a fan. But you're making my point. But yeah, that's where I'm at now, man. That's where I'm at now, man. So again, I'll pull up the HD channel. I'll still do my live stream with Showtime because that's my dude, man. I'm always for Showtime, but I'm limiting my services, my knowledge, and not to say I got the best knowledge, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But her weaknesses: in-game consistency, shooting efficiency. She takes bad shots sometimes, and again, I don't hold that like high regard because it's more of like gameplay style. Sometimes she just takes shots at the wrong time when the ball needs to be moved, and it could be a good thing and a bad thing. Her shot chucking sometimes. So I mean, she don't have no real other peer scores on the team. Everybody else is kind of system scores. So just watching the game, her shot selection is bad sometimes, but I don't hold that against her in high regard. Like I said, all weaknesses aren't this thing where they need to change this or they won't be great, man. You know what I'm saying? They need to change this or they won't be great. It's more of just one of the flaws in her game as far as like shooting percentage when she takes a shot, the efficiency of a shot, things like that. So I'm just pointing that out. Leadership, I do want to see her more. I want to see her in faces more. I want to see her take the responsibility of when a player's down. I kind of watch her on the bench sometimes, and she's just being her own world, and I get it sometimes, but I want to see her when they're down in games. Instead of the coach talking, I wanted to see her take on that leadership role because it's going to be very important for her in a WNBA, especially if she's going to be a point guard of being the coach on the floor sometimes when things aren't going right. Like, coach, we don't need a timeout. I got it. I seen something last time that was open. We about to do that. Like, sometimes you need that to help the coach save a timeout, to help the coach like ring players back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need that. And I want to see that more from her. Not saying she isn't capable of doing that. I just don't see it a lot at Maryland. Especially when they're down in games, like even against USC. I did want to see that a little more because they were missing layups and shots. I wanted to see her go to them, and they were holding their head the whole second half. I wanted to see her go to them and be like, hey, we got it. It's all right. We got it. It's all right. We got it. Like, I want to see that more from her being a veteran on the team. And, you know, stuff like that. So I want to see that more from her. Again, decision making, it goes into the shooting efficiency. Her dribble drive decision making is limited. And again, that could be from shooting. They don't run a lot of screens for her. She doesn't dribble drive a lot. When she dribble drives, it's always downhill. It's never kick out. So her decision making, I need to see more of that. And again, it's like football. I need to see, if I'm judging a quarterback who doesn't run a West Coast offense. Oh, I get you, Kylie. I get you. Yeah. You're right. I get you. My bad, Kylie Black. I get what you're saying. Shout out to Kylie Black. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, because last time I didn't really understand it, but I get what you're saying now. You're right. You're right. My bad. My bad. I had to take a phone call. Decision making, dribble drive, penetration, when to take a shot, when not to take a shot, when to call like a set instead of like just trying to go ISO. I want to see that get better going into WNBA because it's going to be important. If she's going to be a floor general, things like that. She needs to be a coach on the floor. So that's something else I want to see from her improving, going into the draft. I'm going to be paying three things I'm going to be paying close attention to for her in March Madness. Her playmaking ability, her leadership, and her decision making. That's the three things I'm going to be paying close attention to in March Madness. Because again, some talented players, they cruise and they wait until the moment's right. So I'm going to be paying close attention to that come March Madness, man. I'm going to be paying close attention to that come March Madness. WNBA comparisons. I always like to, I don't like to give one specific player because they can only be them on one side of the ball or like skill set wise. I like to give intangibles of their skill sets. Alyssa Thomas, their skill set comparison is their versatility, their ability to play both sides of the ball, their passing ability, their ability to play multiple positions. We already know I call her Alyssa the Bully Thomas. She can play the 3, the 4, even the 5 at times, depends on who's on the floor. She'll play the 5 if Smith is in trouble. I'm interested to see what she'll do with Phoenix now. So shout out to her. It's crazy that she's on this slide. So shout out to her on her new endeavors. I I'm interested to see if Bonner's gonna go with her because they're an item, and Bonner used to play for the Mercury. So I'm interested to see if Bonner's gonna go with her as well. We'll see. She got familiarity there, so we'll see. We'll see. Khalil Copper, like I said earlier, she's a great downhill scorer. Drop her shoulder, get her head down, get to the rim. She's long, athletic, quick. ISO scoring, 1-2 dribble pull up. She has a great elbow jump shot, that 1-2 left over the leg. She has great pull up capabilities, 1-2 dribble pull ups. Like Kalia Copper, offensive game within the perimeter reminds me of hers just from watching film. Chelsea Gray, the height, the skill set, court vision, clutch plays, facilitating, game management, the way she manages games. Because I remember when they played, was it Minnesota? They almost lost that game, and she took it back over. Like, because I think Minnesota ended up going on a run, and they almost lost that game. Minnesota was ranked, and they almost lost that game, and she ended up taking it back over in the last 2 minutes. So her ability to manage a game when teams are on a run is good. That's why I don't get her in-game consistency, because when she wants to play, and just looking at I'm gonna be honest, just looking at film, I don't think we're seeing the best Shyanne Sellers. Just looking at film, that's why I'm thinking she's going to be the steal of the draft. She's going to be the steal of the draft. I just think I don't think you're seeing the best Shyanne Sellers. I'm just watching film, and I'm like, you're better than that. You're better than that. I don't think we're seeing the best Shyanne Sellers. So I think she's being very, very undervalued. And part of that is on her. You got to show your best self. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't feel she got to right now. She's waiting until March Madness. I see her make smart plays, and I'm like, why don't you just continue doing that? You can average 30 a game. She can actually average 30 a game, but she doesn't. It's very, very. Shyanne Sellers can average a triple double. Shyanne Sellers is one of the very few players in college that can average. Shyanne Sellers can average a triple double if you watch her game. So I don't think we're seeing the best Shyanne Sellers. I'm gonna be honest. Old school comparison, and this hit me the first time I was watching film on her the other day. I was like, Tamika Catchings. Those who don't know Tamika Catchings, you don't know basketball. You ain't learned enough yet. Tamika Catchings is one of them ones. Versatile defender, microwave scorer, rebounding. They both play great defense. If Tamika Catchings is her ceiling, we got us one. If you don't know Tamika Catchings, this is what I need you to do. Go watch Shyanne Sellers versus Duke or USC, and go watch Tamika Catchings, and you're gonna be like, I see it. You'll be like, I see it. I see it. Tamika Catchings is the Hall of Fame ceiling type of player that Shyanne Sellers could be at the best of her abilities. And again, we're not saying she's going to the Hall of Fame or anything. I'm saying when you think about a Hall of Fame player, Tamika Catchings and her skill sets, body types, the way they score, the way they defend, their IQ on the court, their rebounding capabilities, how they crash the glass, getting passing lanes. Hey, Tamika Catchings is one of them ones. And you heard it here first before you heard it from anybody else. Some people are going to probably try to steal my content. You know how that goes. But you heard it here first. Hall of Fame, Tamika Catchings is her skill set. Yes, Brass, high praise. Look at that. B. Will say he was watching Tamika Catchings earlier. Political Lil said Tamika Catchings was no joke. You're right. If you don't know her, you're sleeping. Yeah, if you don't know, she don't get talked about a lot. So some people don't even really realize who I just said, because she's like Tamika Catchings is like, I'm gonna give a WNBA, an NBA term. Tamika Catchings is like the I would say Paul Pierce, because a lot of people know Paul Pierce. They know now. I'm trying to think of a player, and Superfly J, you're reading my mind. I'm trying to think of a player that's right outside the top 10 that should be in the top 10, but for some reason they don't get enough credit. They don't got enough popularity to get into the top 10. I was trying to think of a player. I can't think of one though, because most of the players that's right outside the top 10 are like old school players. I want to say I'm gonna stick with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is better than he get credit for. He was on a garbage team that had no hopes of winning, so he don't get put into it because he only got the one championship. But he was the Finals MVP, which is weird. And he used to get LeBron fits. No matter how we feel about LeBron, he's my favorite player. But he used to get LeBron fits. Like before Brian went to Miami, he was giving Brian fits. Man said Kwame Brown, man, get off my screen, man. Tamika Catchings should be in the top 10, but she doesn't get enough credit. Go watch Tamika Catchings. Go watch Shyannesellers versus Duke, or watch her versus USC, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Watch the way she scores. Not how she runs up and down the court. Actually, go watch the game, the nuances of the game, the way she scores, the way she defends, and go watch Tamika Catchings play, and you'll be like, Zoe was on to something. Like, just go watch it. Just go watch it. Hey, Tamika Catchings, she's in my top 10. I don't care what nobody talking about. She's in my top 10. And again, I'm just talking. I always like to bring in like a Hall of Fame player because a lot of people don't really watch everybody. So I always like to bring in like a Hall of Fame player that a lot of like even old school people in the chat have like actually watched their game on a regular basis, because like Chelsea Gray, you've probably only seen her a couple times and you know her from the stat sheet or the Olympics. But like, do you watch all 40 of her games every year? 80% of you in the chat probably know. So a lot of these players, we not like 100% watching, but Tamika Catchings was one of them ones. So I always like to bring in like a Hall of Fame player that a lot of people probably watched their games growing up or even now on YouTube. Just play styles. Again, not saying Shyanne Sellers is going to be in the Hall of Fame or going to be Tamika Catchings at her best. I'm talking about play style only, the way she can defend, microwave score. You don't see a stat up here that says she's gonna be averaging the same points as Tamika Catchings. I'm talking about play style only, microwave score that can score in bunches, rebounding. Tamika Catchings was a great rebounder. She don't get enough credit for her rebounding, actually. Tamika Catchings was a great rebounder, great board crasher. She was a great defender. She don't get enough credit for her. When I hear people talk about Tamika Catchings, they never bring up her defense. Tamika Catchings was locked down. And this one, your best players were guards. I know it's starting to transition where you got more bigs as your top 5, but like back then, your top 5 were probably guards. You probably had one big in there each year, 1 or 2 bigs, but like your top 5 were mainly guards. Like Tamika Catchings was locked down. And this one, your guards were like big bullies. Tamika Catchings was locked down. So shout out to Tamika Catchings. I actually went back and watched a few more today. Make sure I wasn't tripping. Make sure I didn't have too much whiskey when I was watching her. But like, yeah, their play styles are comparable. So if you want to see a WNBA version of Shyanne Sellers' play style, just go watch before she gets to the WNBA. Just go watch Tamika Catchings and you'll see it. The other 3, they have attributes that are similar to Cheyenne's, but like Tamika Catchings' play style is literally on the nail. What's going on, Unc? Make sure y'all go to Steady Serving Entertainment. Unc be over there cutting up, man. Shout out to Unc, man. But again, number 10 pick for the Chicago Sky Draft Series, episode number 6, Shyanne Sellers. Again, I don't mind her at the 10 pick. I think she'll be the steal of the first round. Just off her capabilities alone and what she can bring to a team, I think she'll be the steal of the first. Like, I don't see nobody else being a steal of the first round because we already, Anissa Morrow is who Anissa Morrow is. Oh, I think Olivia Miles is who Olivia Miles is. Sonia Citron is who Sonia Citron is. Paige Beckers is who Paige Beckers is. I think Shyanne Sellers will be the steal of the first round if we can get her at number 10. If Shyanne Sellers is available at number 10, she's going to be the steal of the first round. Shyanne Sellers at number 10 might be the steal of the last 4 years. I mean, look at these. Look. And it's not out of realm of possibility. Look at these last 10 picks. Look at the 10 pick from the last rounds. I think she's better than Jocelyn. I forgot who that is. She's better than Queen. I had high hopes for Zaya Cook, but she's better than Zaya Cook. And she's better than Lily. Like, if she is at number 10, she would be the steal of the first round in the last 5 years. Like, seriously. And those who don't believe that, I'll be back come October. And I'll be like, I told you so. Because she's mature. Like, I watch her game. She's mature. Look at when she guarded Juju shot 1 for 6 and she had a steal. Again, she's versus ranked teams. Does she show up against big teams? Yes. Does she touch the stat sheet all over the court? Yes. And these are ranked teams. So I always say, when do my best players, I don't care about you scoring 50 points against Northwestern. Did you show up against ranked teams when it meant something? Yes. I know, Brass, and that's weird. Like, Brass, like, that's what I'm saying, Brass. Like, that's weird. Tamika Catchings is a lockdown, one of the best perimeter defenders of all time. And when they talk about Tamika Catchings, they never bring up her defense at all. That's why I wanted to highlight that. I like to highlight old school players, man, because I watched them growing up. Like, my mom was a basketball player, so my mom was a basketball player, so, and my dad played football. They actually met in college, so so I was born an athlete. So I just watched her growing up, and hey, she was one of them ones, man. She was one of them ones. But again, does my player show up in big moments? Do they produce both ends of the floor? Yes. She got familiarity with Angel Reese. They were ranked number 13 when Angel Reese was there. That year that Angel Reese was there, Shyanne Sellers won Big Ten All Freshman. She made the Big Ten All Freshman team, and she was 6th player of the year that year with Angel Reese. Then the following year, she made first team All Big Ten and first team All Defense. Then last year, Big Ten first team. Like, I mean, what's not to like about her? Like, she showed up day in, day out. Like, what's not to like about her, man? What's not to like about her? Familiarity. She can shoot the rock. She can score. She can distribute. Great rebounder. I'm like, we gotta stop letting ESPN tell us who the best players are, and that's where our talking points come from. Like, we say this is the best player, so our talking points got to get here, and if we don't talk about these players, it's outlandish. You don't know basketball. Why can't everybody just see the game in their own way? That's very weird to me. That's why, again, like I said, I'm moving forward. I'm limiting my my knowledge and my capability. I'll pull up the show channel. I'll still do my live stream with show. I'll pull up the HD, but I'm limiting because I will not be disrespected by people who ain't did what I did. Like, that is outlandish. That don't even make sense. Like, make that make sense. You talk about my game. Your content is about the game I played. Like, make that I want y'all to think about that. Your content is about the game somebody played. That's why I'm limiting. That's very weird. I want y'all to think about that for a second. That's very weird. That's weird. So again, my knowledge is staying at IMZO Media, man. Staying at IMZO Media, man. But what's not to like about Shyannesellers at number 10? Some big boards got her going at number 9 or number 6. I don't know what's not to like about her. All around playmaking guard. I do want to see her decision making get a little better. Her leadership capabilities on and off the floor. I want to see what that is. There isn't much to work on there, so that's why I called it the weakness. There isn't a lot to work on there. She did political. She did. Angel had some dogs around her in college, man. Her scoring, bar none. Like pound for pound, I'm talking pound for pound. Sellers is the best scorer in the top 10. Like I'm talking pound for pound, who can put the ball in the hoop? Like, give me the ball and move out the way. She's the best ISO scorer in the first. That's like selected to go in the first round. Like, I don't think Paige Beckers is a true ISO scorer. Like Paige Becker is better off ball, which is weird why people want to play point guard. I think she's better off ball, like moving off screens, coming off curls. Like, I think that's why Paige Becker scores her best. Like backdoor, like she's a great flash and cutter. She's great backdoor. She's great with a V cut. Like, I think Paige Becker's best capabilities on offense is off ball. Like, let her facilitate when the play breaks down. Utilize that. I don't think you put Paige Beckers at the point. I think she's just better off ball. She needs to get stronger. I want to see how Paige Becker's speed looks at the next level, because she isn't that quick. I want to see how her speed looks at the next level. HD, I get what you're saying, HD. I just think she shoots the ball a little better than Rip from behind the arc. But when Rip was coming up, the 3-point shot wasn't that prevalent. So I don't know if he could or couldn't. But I get where you're coming from, HD. Talented off-ball player. He played the 2, sometimes the 3, depending on who's on the court. Great off of curls. One of the best mid-range shooters in NBA history. If you don't know Rip Hamilton, one of the best mid-range shooters, especially when he got that mask. When he got that mask after he broke his nose, it was a wrap for everybody. One of the best mid-range shooters. I loved Rich Hamilton when he was with the Pistons. When Chauncey, Ben was there. Rasheed Wallace. Who else was there? McDice. Like, they had a squad there. Tayshaun Prince. Yeah, so her off-ball movement reminds me of Rip Hamilton. She can just shoot the 3 a little better, but her off-ball reminds me of Rip Hamilton. And those who know Rip Hamilton, that's not a slight. So don't say Rip Hamilton. If you don't know Rip Hamilton, if you say Rip Hamilton and her offense is similar off-ball, and you think that's a slight, you don't know basketball. Because Rip Hamilton was one of them ones in the mid-range. Trust me. And he's an NBA champion. Be one of the best teams of all time, the Lakers, in their dynasty period. So this wasn't the Lakers of old or new. Like, they beat the Lakers in their dynasty period. So again, Rip Hamilton was one of them ones. So that ain't a slight. I just think she'll be the steal of the draft. I'm excited for her to see where she falls. I got high hopes for her. I think she's the best peer scorer in the top 10, like peer, like just put the ball in my hands and move out the way. Like, put the ball in my hands and move out the way. Right, then it's PC gaming. Yeah, it don't matter. Right. And because I'm trying to think of who else is like just scores in the first round that you would even put in that kind. Her and Paige are the best like pure scorers in the first round. But Paige is more like off ball. She's more on ball. So I do want to see her play better off ball, but they don't have a great secondary point guard. So I want to see what she does in March Madness when it's win time. Again, she shows up in big games during the regular season, of course, but I want to see what she looks like March Madness. Because again, some great players, they got that switch. It's like, okay, it's go time. I showed enough to be in the top 10. Now it's go time. And I think just watching the way she plays, she can score way more than she scores. She doesn't even be trying. Like, she's literally a 25 per game scorer. If she wanted to. Like, I'd be like, why you ain't score that? Why you pass that? Like, I think she's probably taking that, let me get my teammates ready for March Madness. I'm going to be ready. Because sometimes she passes the ball, and I'm like, why you pass that? Like, you just made 6 in a row. Like, why you pass that? Like, so I don't know if it could be that. So I'm going to see when March Madness comes, because I need to put the whole season together to see why she didn't average 20 a game this year. I need to put the whole thing together, because she could easily average 20 a game. Like, she can go. Like, go. So, again, I think Shyannesellers will be the steal of the draft. Because I don't see nobody else. Steals of the draft are like your mid first rounds on down. Like, anybody in your top 10, they're not really a steal of the draft. They're literally a lottery pick. I know the lottery pick is only 1 through 4, but your top 5 picks, they're lottery picks, basically. They're not considered steals of the draft. They're going where they're supposed to go. So anything past outside of the lottery, I consider that potential steals. And I think she could be the steal of the draft, because some got her going 6. If she get to 10, she'll be the steal of the draft, because she can cover so many bases: rebounding, defense, scoring, playmaking ability, like everything. So I'm excited to see what she does in the WNBA. Again, appreciate y'all for pulling up. My live breakdowns, I won't do panel just because I want them to be like streamlined, just straight breakdown. I might come back on tomorrow and just do an open live panel for Shyannesellers. I'll probably do that. I'll probably start doing that. I want these to be just strictly just film related and not like actual panel after, because I want to continue to streamline doors into the straight playlist. So I might start doing open panels like the day after my live stream. So tomorrow I might do a Shyannesellers open panel. So be on the lookout for that one. But Shyannesellers at number 10 pick, episode number 6. I'm with it. I'm game. She brings a lot to the table, offensively, defensively. She fits a lot of needs where we ain't got to go spend useless cap space. We ain't got to conserve energy on other things that's not really needed, when we can get it from someone else that could do multiple, triple, trio of things. Like, she can do so many different things on the basketball court. What's not to love about her? But that'll do it for Chicago Sky 2025 Draft Report Series, episode number 6. Shyannesellers, Maryland's starting point guard for the 2025 WNBA Draft. I'll see y'all next week for number 7 episode. Other than that, y'all be cool. Y'all have yourselves a good day. I'll check y'all out later.
I be smoking on that motherfucker. Hey, 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 hey.